Yo, what up, street gods? Eric Kim. All right, thought. Why lift weights? What's the point of it? So, I think the very pragmatic reason is it's like kind of the closest thing we got to like modern day Zen meditation, I think. Y'all always asking why I take my shirt off. Because it feels good. No, I'm just trying to get the as maximum UV radiations during the winter time, and also for my pale ass thighs that I could get. So anyways, I think some thoughts. One, nowadays the more thing I'm interested in is experimentation and first principle. So like looking around, couldn't find a power rack that was empty, and went over to the bodybuilding side and have that the kind of the more less sophisticated squat rack thing. They got the pins and whatever. And then I actually had a thought, I'm like, maybe it's the squat, it's not really a squat, but it's more of a weight bearing exercise, just to see the maximum amount of weight you're just able to hold on your shoulders and just stand, to give your ligaments and your bones and your back and your spine and your soul a good nice gravity massage. And some optimistic thoughts, right? Like, if you don't compete, right, you're not competing in a powerlifting meet. I'm like, competition for suckers. I'm like, you gotta compete for a living, use a slave to the system. So for me, it's kind of more of a fun personal curiosity thing, and I'm just kind of curious what's going to happen. Like, there's a phrase in Vietnamese I like, is "Di job yet" or "Lam job yet," which is like, do the thing in order to understand, or do the thing in order to figure out just like what's gonna happen. And it's a good way to approach life and everything in between, because, you know, like a lot of people got business ideas, entrepreneurial ideas, and people always ask for feedbacks. Oh, what do you think about my idea? I'm like, bro, just try it out and just see what happens, right? It's the most simple thing. You know, put out an MVP, minimum viable product. Shout out to my friend Ryan from Backyard Brew and Palo Alto. I'm actually quite certain that he coined that concept and someone stole it from him, made a book out of it. Or just do prototyping, testing, where you just put it out in the world and just see what happens, right? So like, and if you think about it, like, if let's say our goal is towards insane epic greatness, then the goal should be to only engage in things which are phenomenally interesting to us and require a great deal of courage and a great deal of potential failures along the way. Because I'm just kind of curious. It's like, okay, so with the squat, right, you know, put the heavy weight on the squat rack, and I'm just like literally just trying to unrack the weight and just hold it on my shoulders and then just put it back and just see what happens. And I was just like looking at myself in the mirror while I was doing it, right? Like, my face turned totally red, all the blood's going to my face, and, you know, thank God I was able to hold it. It's funny because when I did it with 6 plates and 25, was that 635 pounds? Initially when I did it with 5 plates, I actually felt it in my upper back. Ironically enough, whenever I try a higher weight and I have to hype myself even more, I actually don't feel nothing. Isn't that funny, right? Like, if I'm doing rack pulls, I'll feel it at 4 plates and 5 plates in my back, but then once I try the 6 plates plus 25 on each side, then I don't feel nothing, right? Weird, right? So sometimes actually attempting a higher weight with more Zen focus and hype could result in a cleaner lift or a more precise lift, and it will yield in a better outcome. And assuming your legs are the world's most important thing. I was thinking about it, I was like, if you had the choice of amputating your arms or amputating your legs, what would you choose? I would probably amputate my arms. I would actually say that my legs are more important than my arms, because like, you know, like with your legs you can walk around, you know, I'm sure I could use the Google Glass or something, take photos, or strap a GoPro to my forehead and just record everything that I see. And then, you know, there's a lot of dudes who are like amputated like that, and then they could do essentially everything with their feet. They're much more safe, self-capable. Whereas if you don't got legs and you're just in a wheelchair, that kind of sucks, right? I mean, certainly hands are great, but as long as you have your vocal cords, you don't need to type on a keyboard, because you could just voice dictate Siri everything. And the good thing with thighs is, like, this is my personal theory, I think our intelligence actually comes from our thighs, our legs, our feet, rather than our quote-unquote brain. The brain is just an offshoot of the legs and stuff like that. So if you think about it, you know, movement, motivation just comes from movement. If you're moving your legs, you're just motivated, right? And this is the hilarious irony, is that you're just stuck at home all day and you're not moving, you're not going to be motivated, because you literally are not moving. But once you just go outside and you start walking, once one starts walking, one is actually motivated. Isn't that a funny thought? And even a New Year's challenge I had is like try to walk 30,000 steps a day. I almost hit it once when I was at UCLA for a full day, and I'm like literally walking like 10 hours the whole day. I think I hit like 28,000 steps, whatever. My friend Jimmy the mailman, he said he regularly logs 30,000 steps a day. Or there's this one new dude with a new book called like The 12-Hour Walk or something. I didn't really read it, but assuming the guy walks 12 hours a day, that's pretty cool. That's pretty interesting. I'm like, definitely a lot of turbo thoughts. Also, our best friend Nietzsche said, trust no thought which doesn't come to you while walking outside. To think and to come up with thoughts while sitting on your butt is the real sin against the Holy Spirit, according to Nietzsche. He's kind of quoting this one dude who said that you gotta sit in order to think. You know, the best thinking comes while walking and being outdoors. Yeah, so I think there's this, I mean, also you think about photography, street photography, right? Like, you know, very beneficial to have legs and be able to walk around and shoot photos and stuff like that. And so in the context of the gym, right, I'm like, I just have like a fun like experiment. Look, got my veins, my biceps bulging. I've never done a bicep curl in my life. All I do is the heavy rack pulls and the mini squats, and yeah, still I'm like able to get muscle somehow, right? So I'm doing something right. And like, you get the abs and the traps. And so like, even as a theory, I'm just like, I wonder if like all this upper body stuff is just totally steroid talk. And it's funny too, because not the gym you see dudes with huge upper body, it's actually not that impressed. Like, nobody could care. And then usually the dudes with super buff upper bodies have like stick legs, so it actually proportionally makes them look more silly. It's actually more impressive to see a dude with super monster turbo thighs and a quote average looking upper body than a dude with a super upper body buffness and stick legs, right? Because my theory is, if you get your legs and you do really, really heavy stuff that involves your feet and your legs and your thighs, whatever, like your body, your upper body must actually acclimate or adapt in order to bear the weight. Like even holding the barbell, like 6 plates and 25 on your shoulders, right? It's quite taxing on your traps, your back, your upper back, your lower back, your abs, whatever it is. And you know, I don't use the belt. I've never used the belt in my life. No wrist straps, whatever. Even like holding the weight with your hands and the wrist is actually quite taxing too. And be able to put the weight back, it's kind of like a mini shoulder press or, you know, forearm strength. So I feel like there's a lot of hidden benefits to doing lower body exercises that people don't know. And the naive thing that people do is they always separate upper body and lower body. I never listened to Airbuds Pros max. And you know, I overhear dudes talking, so, oh, what are you working today, bro? So, oh, chest, biceps, back, lower body, oh man, twist like that, one skip. So it's to have to categorize everything into different body parts, I think is kind of silly. I would just say every day should be like day, or every day should just be a full body workout. I think to have to separate out cool body parts, I think it's kind of like this like pseudo-scientific or a scientism where you try to make it into like a science, right? Where it's like, oh, every day just go to the gym 7 days a week, every day hit a different body part and you'll get super swole. I'm like, yeah, but then the guys who are giving that advice are also taking the steroids and also on the juice, doing all this weird, they're on the gear, whether kind of slang, I don't even know, right? Just if you think a guy is on the juice, just like ask him, it's like, yo bro, what cycle you on, man? And just like look at how his response is, right? Or the funny thing is, like, you see a dude who's super buff, just mention steroids, right? Like, I always joke, I'm like, oh, I got so strong because I put steroids in the left butt cheek. And then once you use the word, the S word, right? Use the S word. Just kind of look at their face and they're just kind of like this one like short buff Asian guy, man, is like just joking about steroids, and he's like kind of looking around. And it's just like, yeah, he's probably on the juice too. But anyways, it doesn't even matter at the end of the day. Just whatever matters is your approach. And so yeah, I think the best part I like about weightlifting is, yeah, going to the gym, Zen meditation, Zen zone. And whenever I have to hype myself up before a very, very heavy lift that I haven't done before, I like it that my mind could go blank. And I like being able to yell and shout. It's the only time I ever get to do that in real life, which has a practical purpose. People always ask, like, should you hype yourself up before a very heavy lift? I say 100% yes, because it gets your adrenaline up. Instead of having to do the sniff the ammonia salt thing. I'm like, that's just weird. I'm like it's like, is it ammonia poisonous or something? I don't know, maybe it's not. I mean, like, I'm sure there's worse things, but I'm like, it's just easier to just slap yourself in the face and to just fucking psych yourself up. Like, once again, everything becomes this funny mimesis, mimetic theory, where you see a strong dude at the gym deadlifting 7 plates, sniffing the salt, you're like, oh shit, how do I get strong like that dude? Oh, it's because he does the salt. If I do the salt, I could also hit 7 plates, and you start doing it, or whatever it is. I'm more interested in like trying to innovate by what I decide not to do. So do a super heavy freaking lift without no music on. All the dudes I see always listen to music.